Hi, my name is Harry. I'm British, and today I'm going to teach you about the weather. So let's start with a very common way to describe the weather, which is it's raining cats and dogs. So this is a very old-fashioned way to explain that it is raining very heavily. In reality, I haven't actually heard anyone use this expression. Maybe once or twice. You could say something like, it's raining cats and dogs out there. This would mean that it's raining very heavily. I would use this expression in a funny way because I know that this expression is taught around the world and it's almost become a stereotype about British people that we use this idiom to express weather. So I would say it's raining cats and dogs out there. But I know that I'm just making reference to this stereotype. A more common expression that you will hear in everyday life is it's tipping it down out there. So this means that it's raining very heavily. You can use it in sentences such as, we won't go to the beach today, it's tipping it down, or it's tipping it down out there. So you'll hear this more commonly said. Another very common word to describe weather in the UK and London is drizzle. Drizzle is rain that you barely notice. It can be very slow rain, and I absolutely hate drizzle because if you don't take your umbrella and you're walking for an hour, by the end of it you'll be drenched, but you really wouldn't have noticed the rain that much. So drizzle is slow rain. You can use it in sentences such as it's drizzling outside or it's starting to drizzle. If it is raining very heavily, you could say it's bucketing down. This is a way to describe rain that can be very sudden and there's a lot of rain. If you think about a bucket full of water and you tip it over, all of the water comes out at once. So you could say it's bucketing down outside, or it's absolutely bucketing down. Sometimes when you're walking and it's raining, you'll also have the wind blowing the wind into your face. When this happens, you can say it's raining sideways. So you could say it's so bad it's raining sideways. So even if you have your umbrella, you will still get hit in the face with the rain because the wind is blowing the rain into you. If it's raining so much and your clothes are full of water, you could say, I got drenched. So drenched is a word to describe that you are soaked with rain. Maybe your shoes and your clothes are soaked with rain. That's why it's quite important to get a waterproof jacket. So when the rain has gone and we've gone into summer, early summer, and it starts to get warmer, you could quite simply say it's quite warm outside, or you could say it's nice and balmy by the pool. This word balmy means it is pleasantly warm. When we go into sunny and hot weather, you could quite simply say it's nice and sunny or it's nice and hot. There are some really nice adjectives you can use to describe hot weather. You could say boiling, baking, roasting, blistering, or scorching. Now, there are a few differences between these. For example, boiling, an easy way to think about this is if you are boiling some food in a pot with water, for example, pasta or an egg, it takes some time for the food to get cooked. It doesn't take a very long time, neither does it take a short time. So if I say it's boiling outside, I mean that it's hot. It can be uncomfortably hot. When we have baking, if you are baking a cake in the oven, it takes longer than if you are going to boil something. generally. So if you say it's baking outside, or I'm baking, I'm going to go inside. So you've been out in the sun for a long time, so it feels like you have been baking like a cake. Then we have roasting. So if you're going to roast a chicken in the oven, it takes a long time for the chicken to get cooked. So if I say I'm roasting, or it's roasting outside, so you've been out in the sun for a very long time. Then we have blistering and scorching. These are quite similar. If we think about blistering, if you touch something very hot and you get a blister, your skin would raise and you'd have a little bubble. So it's quite instant. So if I say it's blistering outside, it's short, intense heat, periods of heat. Same with scorching. If you think about a barbecue and you have some meat on the grill, you have the black grill marks. So here we could say the meat has scorched. Again, it's a very intense heat. So if you're out in the sun and it's a scorcher, it's scorching outside, it's very, very hot. Out of these, personally, I would say boiling or roasting the most. Generally boiling, it's boiling outside. We also have humid. So if it can be hot and it can be humid, which can be very uncomfortable. So the heat can be nice, but because of the humidity, you can really struggle. This is because the sweat has a harder time evaporating into the air, so it can feel quite uncomfortable unless you have a fan or air conditioning. With cold weather, you could quite simply say it's cold outside. You could also use the adjectives. You could also describe it with the words cool, crisp, and chilly. So there are a few differences between these. If we look at cool, we could say it's a nice, cool day. This is when the cold weather doesn't feel uncomfortable. So it feels refreshing and comfortable. We could say it's nice and cool in the park. With crisp, quite similar as well, where it's cold, but it feels refreshing. So you could be walking in the park and you could say it feels nice and crisp. Chilly is a bit colder. And this is when you would need to put another layer of clothing on top, maybe a cardigan or a jumper. So you could say it's chilly out there. So you don't really need a thick jacket, but maybe a light jacket or a jumper. Cloudy. Now in London we get lots of cloud, we get lots of grey skies, and you will hear the word overcast a lot on the weather forecast. Overcast means grey skies. We could say it's overcast outside. Other words to describe cloudy are gloomy and dull. So these also mean that the sky isn't blue, it's grey or dark grey, and rain is usually associated with this. So I could say it looks overcast outside, or it looks gloomy outside, I think it's going to rain. We have foggy. Another word to describe foggy is misty or mist. I was driving yesterday and there was so much mist, it was difficult to see the road. So these are just some ways to describe the weather. Let me know about the weather in your country today. How would you describe the weather? And also, what kind of weather do you like? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. So please like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Today I wanted to talk about fluency, especially for beginners, on how to improve your fluency in English. So there are 3 magic words that I teach my students in the beginning. These are fun, interesting and enjoyable. So the whole concept is to try to extend your answer. So if you're talking about, if someone asks you a question, for example, why do you like the beach? You could say, I like the beach because it's fun and enjoyable. So this is the first step. So in terms of building blocks. Then the second step would be to see if you can extend that answer even more. So for example, I like the beach because it's fun, because I can go surfing. And it's enjoyable because I get to enjoy the sunny weather and I feel good. So the whole idea here is to see how far you can extend your answer. And I would start with the word because. Even though it's a simple word, it's great for in the beginning to extend your answers. Then in future lessons, I will teach you more sophisticated ways to improve your answers. Thank you so much for watching. Now in the comments for some homework, I want you to pick something that you like. So for example, why do you like sports? Why do you like sunny weather? And I want you to try and firstly extend your answer. So I like football because this and this, and see how far you can extend your answer. Now, one caveat that you may have, so a caveat is almost like a problem or something you have to think about. For example, when it comes to food, if you like chocolate cake, you wouldn't say, I like chocolate cake because it's fun and interesting. Here, you have to use your 5 senses. So if we think about our nose to smell, our ears to hear, our eyes to see, our skin to touch, and our tongue to taste. So here you want to think about, I like chocolate cake because it tastes delicious and it looks beautiful when it's presented well. So again, choose your favorite food, if it's spaghetti, if it's pizza, and tell me why you like it. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Today we are going to talk about the gym. Today I went to the gym and had a good workout. Now, sometimes I don't really feel like going to the gym, so I thought it would be a good reason to make a lesson about the gym. Now, in the comments, let me know, do you go to the gym? Do you like going to the gym? It's very important to stretch before you do any kind of exercise. There are different types of stretching you can do. You can do static stretching or dynamic stretching. I like to do dynamic stretching before I start to exercise, and then static stretching at the end. From my research, I've read that this is safer, but I would encourage you to research a bit more and make up your own decision. So stretching is very important. The lady here, she is doing what looks like a hamstring stretch. Then we have the treadmill. Do you like using the treadmill? I like using the treadmill because I can use my phone and I can catch up on TV series or movies or watch videos on YouTube. But the view isn't great. So you just have a view of the street and cars. So it's not that inspiring. But I like the treadmill because you can raise the incline and you can increase the speed. The treadmill can give you an excellent workout, especially when it is raining outside or if it is cold. So this way you can still get your steps in. You can walk on the treadmill, you can jog, or you can run on the treadmill. So I think it's a very nice piece of equipment. So this treadmill is part of the category of cardio. Cardio is short for cardiovascular. These type of exercises or exercise machines generally work your heart, and make you fitter. So not necessarily, you may not necessarily look better initially, but it will make you fitter, make your lungs more efficient, and overall you'll be healthier. So you can walk up those flight of stairs without feeling tired. Next, we have a cross trainer or elliptical machine. These type of machines, you have handlebars that you can move back and forth, and your legs rotate. You can go forwards or you can go backwards. Again, this is a piece of cardio. This is a cardio machine. I quite like using the cross trainer or the elliptical machine for similar reasons to the treadmill, because I can put my phone there and it can keep me occupied. I also like to listen to music or to podcasts. This makes the time fly by, and before I know it, I've finished the time on the elliptical machine. Next up is the rowing machine. I don't use this as much, but I think it's a very good piece of equipment. I see people using this in the gym. It's important to have good form. So when I say good form, I mean to have good posture. You don't want to be hunched over. When you are hunched over, your back is rolled over and it causes unnecessary strain on your back, and it can lead to injuries. So ideally, you want to have your shoulders back and down, and you can engage all of your back muscles. We have the exercise bike. This exercise bike, I think many people have used. It can be quite boring, but again, you can use your phone, a tablet, maybe there's a TV in the gym that can keep you occupied. So I think it's all about working up a sweat. This will help to improve and build up your fitness. This is an air bike. Now it's similar to a bicycle because you have the pedals. You also have the handlebars. So it's also quite similar to the elliptical trainer. I think this gives you more bang for your buck compared to the exercise bike. This is because you are working your legs in tandem with your arms. So you are using both. It's more of a full body workout. This term, full body workout, I've seen it more often over the last 5-10 years, and I think it stems from the fact that people are very busy. They don't have time to be spending so many hours in the gym. So you want to get bang for your buck, have a full body workout, and then you're done. Here we have the barbell. So a barbell is a long piece of metal. It's a very long piece of metal, and you can attach weight plates onto the end. And here, a barbell generally is straight. You can do something called an overhead press. So you grab the barbell and you'd lift it straight above your head, and this would work your shoulders and your upper back and building up your overall strength. So I think it's a very good exercise to use. You can also use the barbell for something called a bench press. So the bench press is also very common. Here you can see the man is lying flat on the bench and he is pushing the barbell straight up. So this will work your chest, and it's also very important to have good form. So good form again means to have good posture. So he's not arching his back too much and putting unnecessary strain on parts that are not working. So his chest is the area that is being targeted. So you want to focus all of that energy there. You can also use dumbbells. So there are different types of variations of the bench press. You can have the flat bench press. You can also have the incline bench press, where you raise the level of the bench. You also have a variation of the barbell called an EZ or EZ bar. Now, this bar has some shapes in it, and it makes it easier to grip the bar for your exercises. I really like this bar, especially for bicep curls, because it's easy to grab the bar and it puts less strain on your wrist. I mentioned dumbbells earlier, and here they are. You can get different types of dumbbells. You can get smaller dumbbells that have a fixed weight, so you cannot adjust the weight, or you can get dumbbells where you can adjust the weight, so you can increase them incrementally. Now, when you go to the gym, generally with dumbbells, you will see them as being fixed, because the gym has more money and they can have dumbbells increasing in size. So, for example, you could warm up with 2 kg with a bicep curl, and you can increase maybe 5 or 7 or 9, for example. These are weight plates. So these weight plates, you have to be careful when you are carrying the weight plates, because if you drop them on your feet, it will hurt a lot. To prevent this, they have a textured coating, so it's easier for you to grip on to the weight when you are carrying it. So for these, you can also increase your strength each week, and that's what I really enjoy about weight training, is the fact that you can see progress. This is a kettlebell. Now, this lady is doing what looks like kettlebell swings. So this kettlebell is made of iron, I assume, or very heavy metal, and you grip it from the top. So it's a different shape to a dumbbell, and it can be more challenging. This is a lat pull-down machine. In the gym, you will see different sections. So you will see the cardio section with your treadmills, your elliptical trainers, your rowing machines, your exercise bikes. You will see the free weight section, where you have your dumbbells and your barbells. You may see some kettlebells. You'll also have another section where you will have machines. So machines, sometimes they can be fixed or non-fixed. So this is called a lat pull down, and it's not a fixed machine. You will see variations of this. You will see a fixed lat pull down machine where you grab the levers and pull them down. Here, the lady is holding onto a bar and pulling it down. And from my research, it looks like she's doing it correctly, because she's pulling the bar down in front of you. I think if you pull it down behind you, it can lead to some issues. This is an example of a fixed machine, because there isn't flexibility in moving your hand side to side. Your hands are in a fixed position. So this is a chest press, and I think fixed machines can be good, especially for beginners when your body is getting used to exercising, because when you use free weights or free standing machines, you have to engage more muscle groups. So here she's doing the chest press. It also means that you can lift heavier weights. You can maybe target a specific area. This man is doing a chest fly, where you have your arms out wide and then you bring them together and you're working your chest here. He seems very focused. Again, this is a fixed machine. Then we have a cable machine. So this has more flexibility in it. So the cables, they have some leeway. You can move them up or down. And I really enjoy the cable machine because I feel like it can work more than one muscle group. You are using your core. The core is an interesting buzzword when it comes to fitness. It basically means having strong stomach muscles. And having a good strong core means that you have a good strong back. And when you are doing exercises with the cable machine, you have to really engage your core to stabilize your whole body. And I think it's a good machine. Next up, we have battle ropes. Now, I've seen battle ropes in the gym, but I've only used them a few times. But it looks very interesting. I think you look very cool when you are using the battle ropes. It looks like a full body exercise. So I think it's something that I will use a bit more in the future. Then we have a punch bag. And the punch bag, I think, is good for your cardio, also your like a full body workout. I use it sometimes, but I mainly focus on free weights and cardio. This man is doing a pull-up. Pull-ups are very good. You can have weighted or non-weighted pull-ups. So non-weighted, you would just use your own body weight. Weighted, you could attach some a weight belt with some weight plates attached to it. I can't do many of these, but in the gym they have an assisted pull-up machine, which I find much easier, but it really gives you a good workout. Here we have resistance bands. So she's using a resistant band. These have become very popular. I've used these and I think they are also very good. You can see her muscles are working and she's using her own body, her own body weight. I think these are good when you don't have much space. Maybe you're traveling. You can just pop these in your bag, your suitcase, and you can keep exercising wherever you are. The trusty skipping rope. I don't think you can go wrong with a skipping rope. It gives you an excellent cardio workout. I think it's very good. Again, you can get weighted skipping ropes, which can make it more challenging. And I think it's something that is really fun to use. This lady is on a yoga mat, also called an exercise mat. I think these are good. I have one at home for when I want to do some stretching. The yoga mat is thick, so it protects your knees from the floorboards, and it gives you a dedicated space, so you know, okay, I'm going to do some stretching in this particular area. This is a medicine ball. So the ball is a ball, it's round, but it's very heavy, and you can get different weights for this, so they can increase in weight. The medicine ball, I think, is good because it just adds more variation. It makes exercising more interesting. You can do different types of exercises, and it keeps you motivated. So this is a gym ball or an exercise ball. It's larger than the medicine ball and much lighter. You can do different type of exercises on it. It's very good for stability. This man is doing knee raises. So he's on a knee raise station or knee raise machine. I think these are excellent for your stomach muscles, but they are very difficult, so I can't do too many. This lady is using parallel bars. The parallel bars, I think, are very good for your core strength, again using your body weight. So I would love to hear from you. What kind of exercises do you do? There are many different variations. Do you use any exercises from the pictures I've shown you, or are there any different exercises? Do you like cardio? Do you like weights? Do you like using body weight exercises? I would love to hear from you. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next lesson. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Hello friend, how are you today? I hope you're well. And today I'm going to look at the IELTS topic of holidays and travel. So firstly, let's have a look at some vocabulary. So we have accommodation. So accommodation is a room or building in which you stay during holidays or live. So this could be a flat, it could be a hotel. More modernly, could also be an Airbnb. You have all-inclusive. So all-inclusive is a hotel deal where the price includes accommodation, the meals and the drinks, and importantly, this is available at any time. So we also have half board. So half board would be breakfast and dinner. That would be included in the hotel price. We have full board. So full board is your three meals. So you have your breakfast, your lunch and your dinner included in the price of your accommodation. We have self-catering. So self-catering is when you have a holiday and no meals are provided. So what do you prefer? Each has its advantages and disadvantages. If you are feeling rather lazy or you'd want to be pampered, then you can go for an all-inclusive. If you want to have the flexibility of being able to cook for yourself when you want to, then go for self-catering. I personally think self-catering is wonderful because it allows me to go into the supermarket, I can browse the different aisles, and I can choose what I fancy eating. A breathtaking view. A breathtaking view is an amazing view. A lot of hotels, they would include this in the description. So they would say you can have a room with breathtaking views, and usually this bumps up the price a little bit. An interesting one is a busman's holiday. Now, I don't use this, but I've seen it used occasionally. So a busman's holiday is when you have a holiday that's similar to your day job. An example of this could be a surfer, an example of this could be a lifeguard that goes to the beach for a holiday. Or it could be a bus driver that goes on a long drive somewhere for his holiday. So it's very similar to the kind of work that you do. Getting away from it all. This means to get away from your everyday life and your usual routine. To go off the beaten track. This is a very popular phrase. It means to stay away from the usual tourist spots. So if we think about the word beaten, here imagine a long path with lots of footsteps. The more footsteps that you have, it will start to make a dent in the road. So to go off the beaten path, you can see this particular path or road has many footsteps on it, which implies that it's very popular. So if it's very popular, then maybe you would want to go and see what the attraction is. But then if you go off the beaten track, usually you can experience more of the real city. Hordes of tourists. Hordes means a lot. So when you see hordes of tourists, there are so many people, it's so busy. Some people would like this. Conversely, other people may not like this and want to have somewhere more peaceful and tranquil, and so would avoid hordes of tourists. A picturesque village. Picturesque is another word for beautiful. It often is related to scenery. For example, the scene is absolutely picturesque. The mountains are perfect, so is the ocean and the sky. It's absolutely picturesque. It's like a picture, it's like a painting, it's so perfect. Tourist trap is a place where there are many tourists. So if you think of the word trap, if you think about a mouse trap, for example, you can't escape. So a tourist trap is where you can have certain historical landmarks, and there are so many tourists there. It could even be something which someone has created to attract tourists. You'll often see pop-up events or artists on the street, and if there were no tourists, I doubt they would be there. So they are there to attract the tourists. Now this can be a good thing because it increases the economy, it increases more money flowing into that city, into the country, which can be a good thing. However, you may want to avoid the tourist trap if you want to have more of an authentic experience. Maybe you want to enjoy the culture, so you want to go off the beaten track and avoid a tourist trap and experience more of what the city is really like. Now that we've looked at some important vocabulary, let's look at a quick look at the structure of the IELTS exam. So you have three parts. The first part is just an introduction. It's a warm-up. So the examiner will be asking you a series of questions. They may feel like quick-fire questions because they'll come at you very quickly, and you will give short answers. So think of this as a warm-up. Try not to get too stressed. Just relax and try to respond naturally and clearly to the examiner. A question you could have is, do you like traveling? Yes, absolutely. Seeing the world is, in my opinion, the greatest joy of life. I like the variety of visiting bustling cities or exploring places full of nature. Traveling is a fascinating way to discover new locations and learn about other cultures. So you can see in the answer, I keep it quite short. Don't worry if the examiner stops you at any point. It's quite natural. Don't think that you've done anything wrong. It's just that he or she has a certain number of questions that they have to get through. Another question is, what is your favorite type of holiday? I enjoy getting away from it all and then going on nature holidays. The wilderness is my favorite place to unwind. I frequently stray from the beaten path because I'm tired of tourist traps. What do you do on holidays? I like to go to different museums and interesting locations. For example, I visited the Louvre in Paris during my most recent holiday. It was excellent. Occasionally I go shopping with my family, however, I don't find it as fulfilling. Are there many tourists visiting your country? Yes, definitely. My country has many different tourist attractions. For example, there are an abundance of museums and music festivals. There is a mix of history and new events that attract young and old. When you move on to part 2, you'll be given a cue card which will have some prompts on it. Now, I highly suggest writing some notes. Think of your 5 W's, so your who, what, when, where, and why. And try to touch on some of these aspects. If you can't provide answers for every why, don't worry too much. It's more about having fluency and some coherence, so your ideas should naturally flow from one aspect to the next. So you could have a question like, describe a tourist attraction you once visited. You should say when you visited it, where it is situated, who you went with, and say what about it you liked the most. A few years ago, I went to Edinburgh in Scotland, which is towards the north of the UK. I went with my parents-in-law for a quick getaway. I chose Edinburgh because I had never been there before and it looked beautiful in photographs. Edinburgh had a festival, so there were hordes of tourists. Although it was busy, I really enjoyed the ambience. Fortunately, the weather was excellent, so we went on a walking tour of Edinburgh Castle. The views were breathtaking, and I thoroughly enjoyed taking in all the historical information. Edinburgh is a stunning city, and a visit is highly advised. Moving on to part 3. So part 3 is a bit more in-depth, so your answers should be a bit more detailed than the other parts. Why do you think tourism is so developed now? That's an interesting question, and there could be many factors involved. Firstly, with the advent of budget airlines, buying cheap tickets is easily accessible. You don't have to spend an arm and a leg on hotels either, as Airbnb has a plethora of options. Secondly, you can plan your perfect itinerary from the comfort of your home using the internet. This allows you to tailor the perfect holiday suited to you. How do people choose their destination? Well, there are a variety of ways. For example, you can browse the internet for special deals, or you can visit a traditional brick-and-mortar travel agency to get more advice. It also depends on the type of holiday you are looking for. If you want a fly and flop holiday, then sun and sand is what you are looking for. Conversely, if you want to experience architecture and culture, then you could look at visiting historical cities. I really hope you found this video helpful. I highly advise watching my other video about holidays and travel. This is because it serves to supplement these questions. It's always nice to have a well-rounded view of this topic. This way, you're not having to memorize the questions and the answers. You're really understanding the topic. So you have almost like a mind map where you have different categories. So depending on the question, you can just cherry pick the certain answer that you want. Comment below and let me know, what was your favorite holiday that you've ever been on? And where would you want to go next? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate it. It's free to do so and it really helps to make this channel grow. Today I'm going to be talking about luggage. So when you're going on holiday, you have to think about your check-in luggage and your carry-on luggage. So these two are different sizes. Generally, the check-in luggage is larger. Depending on the airline, it can be different weights. Sometimes it can be up to 22 kg, and your carry-on luggage is much smaller, and the airlines have their specific dimensions for this. So we're going to discuss and have a look at what's in my luggage, and you can tell me what you like to pack. So let's get started. Here we have the check-in luggage and the baby size carry-on luggage. Let's have a look inside here. And it's fairly messy, but when I travel, I like to fold the items of clothing up. Sometimes I would roll the items up to make a lot more space. Let me know, how do you pack? Are you a very neat packer, or do you just throw things or shove things into the suitcase? And then carry-on luggage. Got my laptop in there, but I would fill a lot more things into the carry-on luggage. Can you tell me what this is? Good, this is a t-shirt. So for example, if I'm going on a holiday for a week, I would take 7
t-shirts, and let me know how many t-shirts would you take. When it comes to deciding what type of t-shirts to take, I would take the items of clothing that I wear regularly because it just makes it easier for me when it comes to packing. Also, it depends on the weather, so the type of material is important as well. What are these called? Good. These are shorts. So you can have different type of shorts. You can have normal shorts, or you could have swimming shorts, which would have an inner layer. What is this called? So this is a bit of a tricky one. I wouldn't call this a t-shirt because it doesn't have any sleeves. So I would call this a sleeveless t-shirt. In America, they may call this a tank top. It could also be called a vest in the UK. But really for me, a vest is something which has even thinner shoulders. What about this? Yes, this is a shirt. We've got different type of shirts as well. This is a more casual shirt. And this is a more formal shirt. So say for example, you're going out to a nice restaurant, I would choose the more formal shirt over the informal shirt. We have a jumper. This has a nice zip. I tend to prefer jumpers that have zips because, especially during winter or even summer, it's easy to take off the items of clothing. Now, what is this called? You could call it a jacket. I prefer to call this a hoodie because it has a hoodie here. It has a zip here. What about this? Yes, this is a baseball cap. Now, what are these? Good. These are flip-flops. So rather than sandals, which I'll show you in a second, I would call these flip-flops. And here we have sandals. So I guess for men especially, I refer to sandals, that is something that has straps. So they have straps here as opposed to the flip-flops, which you could call sandals if you wanted to, but it's a personal preference. Now, what would you call these? So there are two of them. So I would say a pair of socks. Excellent, well done. What would you call these? In America, you would call them sneakers. In the UK, we call them trainers. When it comes to your carry-on luggage, what kind of things do you like to pack? I like to take my laptop, toothbrush, toothpaste, maybe some paracetamol, sunblock. Now, the airlines have different rules. If it's sometimes if it's a liquid that's 100 ml, for example, 100 milliliters, then they will give you a clear bag to put these things into. So it's nice practice to separate that before you get to the airport. So it's a lot easier rather than having to rummage through everything to get it out and panicking. A few interesting things that you might like to take. Firstly, these are travel earplugs. So if I show you here, so these can be quite useful, especially if you suffer from ear pain during altitude, during a flight. So let me know, do you suffer from ear pain? What kind of things do you like to use to help you? A lot of people say that you should
chew chewing gum or try to yawn, and that can help to unplug your ears and reduce the pain. Another very useful item is this. So this is protection, is RFID protection, and a lot of credit cards, for example, are contactless. Even when you go to a hotel, they may give you a card to access your room, maybe to access the safe. And I like to put those cards into this. So this is a sleeve here, and you can easily put it into here, put it into your wallet or to your pocket, into your pocket, and it stops people from cloning or tapping your card. This is a nice travel bag where you can put your passports into it and you can tie it around your waist, and I think it's very nice and it gives me peace of mind when I'm traveling because I know all the time where my passports and my valuables are. I also pack travel plugs, power bank, my headphones, a book or a magazine. A lot of these things come in really handy, especially when you're waiting for a connecting flight. So let me know, when you're traveling, what kind of things do you like to pack? Firstly, in your check-in luggage and also your carry-on luggage. So when you get to the airport, how do you spend your time? Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you and bye-bye. Hello, my name is Harry, and today we're going to learn English in my kitchen. This is the fridge or the refrigerator. So we have a fridge or refrigerator. This is a combination. So we have the freezer at the bottom and the main refrigerator or fridge at the top. And I have some of these on the fridge. Do you know what these are called? These are called fridge magnets. I have some iconic London landmarks, the London Bridge, Big Ben. We have a red telephone booth. Do you know what this is called? This is a washing machine. It has lots of different settings. So for all of your specific needs, we also have a temperature gauge. What are white goods? Well, white goods are the fridge and the washing machine. You also have things like the dishwasher. These are called white goods, even though we can see here this fridge is grey, but it's referred to as white goods because these are large appliances. It's difficult to move around very easily. Then you have brown goods. Now, brown goods can be something like a kettle, a toaster, something that you can move around easily. You have a microwave, which is somewhere in the middle because it's difficult to move, but it's still portable, fairly portable. Can you tell me what this is? Good, this is a toaster. Can you tell me what this is? Good, this is a kettle. It's a nice, bright, vibrant red kettle. And can you tell me what this is? Yes, this is a microwave. Can you tell me what this is? This is a stove. A stove refers to the top part. And can you tell me what this is? This would be the oven. So as we can see here, the top part is the stove and the bottom part is the oven. You also have some different names. You could call this a cooker, which could refer to everything. What is this called here? This is called an extractor fan. The extractor fan can suck up all of the smells and when you are cooking, and then it expels it out of the kitchen. There are different settings here. You can also have a light and it's very useful for when it is cold and you're cooking in the evening. Do you know what this is called? This is a water filter jug. I am pouring some water from the jug. This jug comes in really handy because in London you have a lot of extra minerals in the water, so the water is very hard and you can get a buildup of limescale. On the counter I have some of my favorite breakfast cereals. I have this Ready Brick, which is a kind of porridge. Weetabix. I like to have 2 of these in the morning. I also like some bran flakes, which is very healthy, good for your digestive system. Some Special K, high in fiber, vitamins B12, B6, vitamin D and iron. Especially the vitamin D, being in London means that you don't get much sunlight, so the vitamin D is good. And one of my favorites, crunchy nut granola with hazelnut and some chocolate. This is quite easy to eat any time of the day, so I have to eat it not as often as the other ones. I've also got some of my favorite coffee at the moment, and I like to use honey. And what about yourself? Can you let me know in the comments below what cereal, what do you like to eat for breakfast? What is this called? This is a sink. This is where you wash the dishes. And over here, what is this called? This is a dish rack, and I like it so much. I love it so much because it has a little spout, so when you dry the dishes, the water drains away very quickly and it's very easy to dry. What is this? This is called a tea towel. This is a special type of tea towel. It's a microfiber tea towel, which I find is more absorbent than the traditional cotton tea towels. What is this called? This is a saute pan. Now this is different to a frying pan because it is bigger. You can see the walls of the pan are higher, so you can put more into a saute pan than a frying pan, but I like to use it for things that I like to fry as well. And what is this called? Yes, this is a frying pan. What is this called? This is a saucepan or a pot. It's very versatile. You can use it to make a lot of dishes, for example, pasta or curry. What is this called? This is a casserole pot, and it's my favorite pot. This is called a lid. It's very heavy. It's a very heavy pot, and I love it so much because it is versatile. Versatile means you can use it in many different ways. You can also put it into the oven if you want to, and it cooks food beautifully and very quickly. What are these called? These are tongs, and they're very handy for when you are turning food in the frying pan. What is this? This is a spatula. This is a silicone spatula. What is this called? Yes, this is a whisk. So when you are making eggs or baking ingredients for a cake, you can whisk the ingredients. So I really love spending time in my kitchen because there's a nice view of the garden, and so sometimes I see squirrels running about, some cats that may come to say hello, and it's a nice cozy environment. There's everything that I need, like I said, the essential white goods and also the brown goods. I haven't splashed out to buy a coffee machine or some of the other appliances, can you tell me in the comments about your kitchen? What do you like in your kitchen? What do you have on your wish list that you may want to buy in the future? Hi, my name's Harry, your English teacher, and I thought it would be a good idea to show you around a very popular retail store in the UK called Primark. Along the way, we'll discuss themes of fast fashion and some common expressions. So let's get straight to it. Hello and welcome. So this is Primark in central London. It's an extremely popular store, very, very busy. As you can see, there's lots of people roaming about trying to find good deals. Now, we can see that there are many products that are very, very cheap. So this brings us on to the theme of fast fashion. And what is fast fashion? Well, if we look at the word fast, something that happens very, very quickly. And fashion describes the amount, the clothes that people wear, the style that they have. So it means the low cost of clothing that quickly enters the shops. And as you can see here, there's lots of different styles. The queue is extremely long. You have to have a lot of patience to queue for this long, but queuing is almost a British tradition. So it's something which is quite normal. So we're going down these steps, and you can see these mannequins showing you the type of styles that you can have. So we have 4 floors here, -1, a ground floor, 1 and 2. So we are on the ground floor. Tasty eating and take out. That seems like a good way for the shop to also make some money when you want to take a break. You can get a bite to eat and then you can carry on with your shopping. It's not going to burn a hole in your pocket. So the meaning of this idiom, to burn a hole in one's pocket, means that money that someone is tempted to spend. If you literally burn a hole in your pocket, there's an open space and money can fall out. You take a ride up the escalator. Some interesting London landmarks, some buses and taxis. They have a nice mirror there, and hello. You can have a look to see how unfashionable or fashionable you are, to tempt you to buy even more products. So even though these products, these clothes, items of clothing are cheap, relatively cheap. Now, when I use the word relative, again, it's about how much money you're able to afford. So we're on floor 1 here, looking at some of the women's section. So these clothes are mass produced. So it may be difficult to find something that fits like a glove. Now, when I say something fits like a glove, that means that it fits perfectly. So you may have your normal sizes, but they're not tailored to your body. And that's something that you will have to pay a premium for. Now, it may also be down to the cost, the material. So we have this jacket here, £26, and it's made in Bangladesh. So when we think of Bangladesh, we think of a developing country. Costs to produce these items would be very low, so they can produce these in bulk and get them shipped over to the UK and different countries. This is quite a nice jacket. It's £22 and it's produced in Myanmar. So Myanmar, again, developing country, they can keep the costs down. The cost of labor is extremely cheap. If they were to produce these items in the UK, they would have to pay a minimum wage, which would increase the price of the clothes. these clothes are so cheap that some people may not go to a charity shop, for example, to buy the clothes, because they can just go to Primark and get something that is trendy, that is trending, fashionable and cheap. And sometimes it may be cheaper than going to a charity shop. So when you go to a charity shop, you will have hand-me-downs. So hand-me-down means used clothing, which is a way, I think, to mitigate fast fashion, is to go to a charity shop and to buy clothes that have been used. But then there may be a bit of a stigma around buying used clothes from a charity shop, which I think used to exist more than it does today, especially with the cost of living crisis. People are trying to cut down costs wherever they can. And Primark is quite clever. They don't just sell clothes, they sell toys, kids' toys, things that are quite popular in pop culture, in media. We have Grogu here, which is very cute. I'm not sure if you've watched The Mandalorian, but Grogu steals the show and it's very popular. And why not put a Christmas hat? Will make him look even cuter and you can sell more products. But it will also make a nice gift. And a cute polar bear here, £6, which again is relatively cheap. So these can make some cheap and cheerful gifts. So when I say cheap and cheerful, it's something which would make someone feel happy immediately, but I don't think it's a product that will last very long. Here we have halving carbon emissions for the planet to breathe freely. If we think about carbon offsetting, that's something that we can cover in another lesson. It's quite an interesting topic as well, how companies can try to offset the amount of pollution that they're producing and try to have the perception that they are looking after the environment, which in the past, 10 years ago, I don't think it was as important as it is today, because people are more conscious about recycling, about the effect that they're having on the environment, probably because we are forced to. For example, with the drive, especially in the UK, to go towards electric cars. And again, this jacket is made in Bangladesh. And I have to say, these jackets in particular, they look very nice. And it's very easy. It's £30. This one is £20. It's very easy to buy a few of these jackets. Because they are so cheap, it is very easy to go on a crazy shopping spree and just buy loads of items. And you will get that release of dopamine. This one is £50. If something is more expensive, does it make it more desirable? If something is cheap, does it make it less desirable? And if we think about fashion, what is fashion? If everyone buys the same products, are they fashionable? Or do they just look the same? And I think that's where buying clothes from a charity shop or some items of clothing can help you to differentiate yourself if you are into fashion. And here we can see so many t-shirts piled up. And if you think about the cost of fashion on environment, of producing these clothes, transporting them, it does have an effect. But some of these items of clothing you need. In the UK, we generally have distinct seasons. So people like to buy jumpers to keep themselves warm, as opposed to if you just lived in a hot climate all the time, where you would just need t-shirts and shorts, or maybe some formal clothes if you're going to work or special events. There are lots of nuances when it comes to clothes, especially in the UK, and as you are transitioning to the different seasons. So companies have a lot of opportunities to target people with different type of products. You've got the kitchen section. You can almost buy anything you want. You can buy some items from clothing. It's very much when you go into the shop, if your intention is to buy clothes and you see these other products which are also reasonably priced, you may think, okay, let me just pick up something else. I may need this, I may need that. So it can be very convenient. Some nice Christmas products here. A big Christmas sack. So lots of different items to decorate your home in time for Christmas. A lot of these products you don't have to handle with kids' gloves. This means to treat things, you don't have to treat things delicately. So it's £8, so you don't have to wear kid gloves when you're handling these, because if they break, they're very easily replaceable. This is £20. It's quite large. So tell me, what do you think about fast fashion? Do you think it's a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And why? And being able to improve your skills in English when it comes to these type of topics is quite interesting, because you can look at both sides. For example, it's good. Fast fashion can be good because it makes people feel good. It boosts the economy. On the other hand, it can be bad because it affects the environment. It's instilling this culture of consumerism. And we can see the various items here. If you compare the price of these to my Harrods video, you can see the huge difference in prices. You could buy a ball here for £1, but in Harrods it would cost £15 to £20. So here we have a nice pun. I believe in you. This is £3. It would make a nice novelty gift for someone. A lot of Grinch items. These would make nice, cute gifts, especially if you have a Secret Santa, and it can take the stress out of buying products. So even though it can be fun to buy presents, sometimes it can be a bit stressful, trying to know what the other person would like. And how about yourself? Are you doing any shopping at the moment? Is there something that you're looking for? Are you waiting for a special sale, for example, Black Friday? Or would you just go out and buy what you wanted? Sometimes you have to, if you need it, if it's a necessity. Sometimes you can't wait, but if you can wait, you can pick up a good deal and get bang for your buck. Bang for your buck would be something that is priced well and a reasonable cost. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please like, share and subscribe, and have a look at some of my other lessons. And thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.